Hello everyone, this is my grandfather, Poppop, and we will be doing the oral history interview. So to start out, I'm going to ask you some questions about your background in early life.
Okay.
Where and when were you born?
I was born in the state of Alabama. My father was on active duty in the Army Air Force stationed outside of Birmingham.
Nice. What was your family like when you were growing up?
Oh, we were all great kids. There was 5 of us. I'm being the oldest, and I had 3 sisters, and my brother being the youngest. We still get along. We've got along all the time. It was just a great life.
What were your favorite subjects in school?
Any engineering courses I took, math, physics, chemistry, those were my specialties. I didn't like English that much.
Did you always want to be an engineer?
Yes. When I was in 8th grade, we had a class project where our teacher said, I want everybody to come up one at a time and say what you want to do in your future life. And I said I wanted to be an electrical engineer. Now I are one.
How did you get your job at Bethlehem Steel?
When I was in my senior year at Rutgers University, earning my bachelor in electrical engineering, they had different companies that came in and you interviewed with the company, and if they were interested in you or you were interested in them, then you got together. So the main reason I chose Bethlehem Steel was I had a number of offers out in California in the aerospace industry, but I was told they'll hire 1,000 engineers this year and lay off 900 next year.
Yeah.
So it was such a dubious thing. So anyway, I finally opted to go with Bethlehem Steel, local, and I thought, if I did well there, I might want to go somewhere else, whatever the future had.
Yeah. What do you remember about your first day on the job?
Well, I was hired as a looper. That's where all the new engineers and new college graduates, a program we had to go through, which took about 9 to 12 months. So when I got my first day, it was, just what's going on, I don't know. So they tried to sum it up. And of course, just like I'm doing today, Bethlehem Steel plant was 4.5 miles long and about a half to 3/4 mile deep going in toward the Lehigh River. So, it was a whole lot of stuff I had to learn about the place. So, we started in the Looper program, and then 1 day a week, 4 days a week, we went through a Looper program where they showed you the history of Bethlehem Steel, all the plants, what they did, what were their specialty products, and whatever.
That sounds really awesome. So you said you got your bachelor's, right?
Yes.
Did you need any other sort of education to kind of progress in your field?
Yes, we had a number of training sessions going along with different vendors and different programs that Bethlehem Steel sponsored. So, it was like a constant learning process for the first I'd say 5-10 years,
That's awesome.
and then we got more specialized, and so, but we still had training if we got new equipment in. And at one point, I was the electronics engineer down at the BOF, and I had about half the plant of electronic technicians working for me.
That's awesome. How long did you work at the Bethlehem Steel for?
I was there over 30 years, I think it was 31 plus a few months.
Did you think you'd stay there for that long when you started?
No. Nobody ever does, I thought.
Yeah.
But, you know, I got some really challenging projects right at the beginning, and I was successful, and I got my promotions and pay raises, so I just stuck with them.
Yeah. What was your favorite part of the job?
What was my what?
Favorite part of the job?
Going home at night. No. Over 30 years, you have a lot of favorite things. So for a year and a half, I was the foreman slash engineer in the electronics group, where we were making steel in the BOF. And every day was something different. New equipment. We had
Somebody move my tape measure.
this 350-ton crane, and they wanted to electrify it, so we put a scale on it. And load cells put in the spreader bar. So then we got this new equipment that it only had a crane ran on DC, 250 volt DC, and when we bought this stuff, it was had to be used. It was an AC system, so I had to buy equipment that would convert the 250 volt DC power to 120 volt AC 60 cycle power.
Sweet. What did you think Bethlehem Steel as an organization meant to the local community?
It was the largest employer in the Lehigh Valley. When I first started, there was in Bethlehem Steel Corporation, which included all the plants, there was 100 and some thousand, 105, 110. And when I started at the Bethlehem plant, there was Bethlehem plant and corporate headquarters. They were corporate headquarters in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania also. So there was 35,000. When I left, there was 11 people left there.
Oh my gosh.
So, whatever, but it went, you know, we were kind of continually declining over the years. Steel industry was being hurt by farm steel. We had a fully integrated plant. We were in Bethlehem, PA, so everything had to be from the ports of Philadelphia or Baltimore or something. We had to transport all our raw materials. Some was delivered by train, but all the stuff we bought off, the iron ore and stuff we bought off out of different countries, I lost my train of thought here.
It's okay. It was like the importing of, like the cost of importing the materials.
Yeah, that was the biggest decline is.
Yeah.
And the union, you know, there's always, the union, when I first started, we had a lot of people. We had a carpenter, an electrician, a power system maintenance guy, I don't know, about 20 different crafts. And if I needed something done and I needed a carpenter there, an electrician, or a power guy, I would have to get 2 or 3 of them. And they would, the ones that were doing something, the other 6 were sitting around waiting.
Yeah.
So that was one of the bad things about the union at Bethlehem Steel. But it became more flexible toward the end.
What year did you start at Bethlehem Steel?
1967. After I got out of college, we started right after the 4th of July. Had to be at the plant July 5th, 8 a.m.
The day after?
What's that?
The day right after the 4th of July.
Yep.
What do you think people today misunderstand the most about what like either Bethlehem Steel meant to the community or what it was like actually working in the steel plant?
Well, everybody thought that when you worked in the steel plant and for a lot of the hourly positions, craft positions, they what was the question?
What do you think people misunderstand the most?
Bethlehem Steel paid, like if a carpenter was working on building a house somewhere and a carpenter was working in his, our carpenter was working in a plant on something, our carpenters and everybody, other people, everybody thought we got paid a lot, they got paid a lot more. I don't really know, I never investigated it, but that was one of the big downsides. What else?
What did working at Bethlehem Steel teach you about life?
I feel like that's his job to know
Going home at night.
Going home one night.
Well, that's what you always want to do. You always want to go to work. Bethlehem Steel was a heavy metal industry.
I'll set the
That's where it belongs, actually. Coke works, where we made took soft coal, converted it to coke, and we trucked it 400 miles up from the one end of the plant up to the other, and that's then we brought the coke up and other products that we brought in from shipping to the blast furnace, and we converted it from the blast furnace to steel, and we had once the blast furnace made iron. So once the blast furnace produced iron, and we had to put in submarine cars, which were big, long torpedo cars, rail cars, and they held like, I don't know, 30 tons of steel, 30 tons of iron, and that was brought up to the BOF, which was another 2 miles back from where we came before, and was processed in the BOF and converted from iron to steel. And we had to team it, which we poured the iron in these big molds, and 20 by 30, 15 by 20, there was various different sizes depending on the product that was to be rolled from. And then we had to take them to the rolling mills, roll them out to the shipping yard, and then truck it out to the customer.
What would you want your grandchildren or great-grandchildren to know about that part of your life?
It was a mostly rewarding career. You know, you had your bad days, your hiccup days, and other things like that, but generally it was good.
Nice. Thank you very much for letting me interview you.
What's that?
Yay. Thank you very much for letting me interview you.
Oh, are we done?
Yep, we're done.
Oh, that was easy.
We did it.
Now at home, I think I got a bunch of pamphlets and books on Bethlehem Steel. I don't know if you want to look them at.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
That'd be awesome.
you'll have to get your dad to come down, bring you down, or you, no, your dad, because I have to go down to the basement,
Yeah.
so I need him to help me down, see if I can find him.
Sweet.
I was hope I had these things for years and years and years, and I always thought one day they're going to come in handy.
Yeah.
Then I thought one day I got to throw them away. So I don't know what the status is right now.
I think they're coming in handy. I think they're also just really cool to have overall.
Oh yeah.
Like as like not like memorabilia, but kind of like a memento of that point of your life.
Yep. What we did, what the different plants produced.
Yeah. That's like really cool. Have you ever been to the new, not new, the National Museum of Industrial History on 3rd Street?
I'm going to tell this.
Oh yeah.
One of my jobs at the steel was the day shift foreman in the electrical repair shop, where we repaired motors from a couple horsepower up to 10,000 horsepower motors. If they were bad, we had to rewind them and all that stuff. And the building I was in for the electrical repair shop is now the Museum of Industrial History. So I worked a year and a half or so in that building.
Have you?
Oh, and when I started, the electrical engineering facilities were on the second floor of that building, and we had a mezzanine level where the engineers were, and we had the chief engineer and his assistant we were all gathered there. There was about 20, ranged from about 20 to 25 at different times.
Sweet. We can get free museum passes to go to if you want to go visit.
Like that?
I can get a free museum pass from the library. Like check it out if you want to go visit the building and look at the museum that's there now.
Sure, I'd love to go. Yeah, I haven't been in there since it opened.
Yeah. But yay!
Okay, thank you.
Of course, thank you very much.
All right.